Yevheniia Kravchuk, a member of Ukraine's parliament, joins us. And I want to ask you right off the bat, what's the power and water situation in Ukraine, in Kyiv today?
Uh, Today, as yesterday and 2 days before, we had some blackouts because we need to balance our energy system. Yesterday, we had another attack by more than 50 missiles that strike different parts of Ukraine. And one of the missiles hit the energy plant, which is really close to my neighborhood. So my neighborhood was out of electricity all day yesterday and for a few hours today. But we're used to it. I bought a huge candle. It stays for 90 hours. So, it's something that we can overcome. And actually these strikes, they do not make sense in any case in military way, because it's just for civilian infrastructure, for people who are working, studying. My daughter didn't go to school yesterday because of the air alert, and then online schooling, and today another air alert. So it's just huge inconvenience for millions of people. But it doesn't change our perception of what we have to do in this war.
Yeah, my next question was actually to ask you, what do you think Russia's objective is by targeting power and water? What's the plan?
I think the plan is to sort of push us to negotiations as they see the negotiation process, which is basically, saying that, okay, Russia, you can have part of our territory, which is not, acceptable to 95% of Ukrainians, I would say, because even now during the war we have sociology polls, and people say that no, we're not trading our territories in any case. So I think it's just a sign that Russia becomes weaker and weaker, because if Russia can do something on the battlefield, they would do it on the battlefield, not trying to target civilians. And targeting civilians, they're trying, to make this probably the part of the people asking President Zelensky, go and sort of do some treaty with Russia. But it just makes people more angry, not wanting to have a treaty with Russia. They will go and buy candle, they will go and buy some, power bank for the gadgets, but they will not ask government to negotiate with Russia.
It is more than 8 months now since this war started. And I know I probably ask you this question almost every time we talk, or very often, and I'm sure you get this question a lot. The reason I ask it, though, is because I think this can change from day to day or maybe week to week. But I and a lot of other people really want to know how the average Ukrainian feels after 8 months of this continuing. And, there doesn't seem to be an end in sight at this point. So how are your neighbors? How do your family, how do you feel about this right now?
I think that every Ukrainian thinks how to overcome the winter, because we're not, thinking in very long terms, like in 20, 30, 50 years. Of course, we're thinking that us and children will live in European Union because we want to join as a state, a European Union and NATO. But in this very short perspective, people are thinking how to live over the winter. Actually, we have got already the new air defense systems from Germany, and I think the NASAMS are coming, very shortly, and that can make a difference because, as I said yesterday, we had more than 50 missiles coming, but our system was able to catch 44 of them. That is more than 80%, like up to 90%. And it's mostly the old era, Soviet style air defense system. And the German system got 100%. So, every missile that came in the range was dropped, was shut down. So if we are able to receive before the winter, the modern systems, it makes, the changes to overcome this season higher, with not having the energy system completely dropped. And of course, we are negotiating with EU about the import of the energy, but still, we want to have our own system capable to overcome the winter. And after the winter, I think a lot of people they think that the victory will be much closer. I think it's just the perception of people that that are optimistic about the next year.
So what is, you've already mentioned winter, it's a key time for Ukraine to get through. How will you get through this? A lot of places are going to be without power. A lot of people have lost their homes, and a lot of people are living in homes that are damaged. So is there some kind of internal effort inside Ukraine to provide for those folks whose homes have been damaged or they've lost them?
I'm coming from western part of Ukraine, which is closer to Poland, and of course, not that damaged as the regions that are close to the front line. And in our region, we have, out of the whole, if you compare the state, the average state in the United States, it's 20% of the population are the folks that came from other regions. So that basically says about it. We have around 7 million people that changed location because of the front line, because of the winter, and they are seeking place, the shelter to stay at. So yes, I would say that even more people relocated inside of the country than left the country. Moreover, if you look at the border guards numbers, more people are coming into Ukraine than leaving Ukraine. So, even winter does not scare people to come back home.
Yeah, that's kind of what I expected, because you've said that before. Ukrainians are not going to give up on this war, correct?
And about the electricity, I'm 37 years old, and I was in school when the 19th hit, and we had some very hard times. I remember I was doing my homework with candles. We are used to to such hard circumstances, and of course, what keeps us strong and alive, not just that we're fighting for the country, for the state, and we will do it all the time, but we feel that the world is with us. And as long as we feel this support, we shall overcome a lot of circumstances, hardships. It just, we need this feeling that we're not alone fighting for democracy.
And I suppose the last thing that I would ask you, Minister, is what is it that you need from the world now? I know you've kind of talked about what the world is doing, and we know that you're getting a lot of support in weapons and financial assistance. What more? What else do you need from the rest of the world, the West, the whole world?
Well, actually, we just need what we ask to have it in time, because sometimes it comes like 3 months later. Like air defense system, we asked it since the day one. We told that Russians will target civilian infrastructure. So of course, if we got this modern air defense system like 3 or 4 months ago, we would be able to now to cover our skies and to save the lives and the infrastructure. So it just sometimes what we ask, we just needed fast as possible. And in those numbers that our army asked for, because when there is a country offense, a country attack in in the south, our army needs this number of armored vehicles or artillery. You can't have like half of it, because it will not make sense. So yes, artillery, MLRS systems, air defense system, finance, and we are capable of kicking Russian ass.
Yeah, I think you've proven that. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being so candid in your responses. One other thing occurred to me. I want to ask you briefly before you go. Russian President Vladimir Putin said last week that they have no reason or need to use nuclear weapons. Do you believe that?
No, I don't believe any word that comes out of Putin's mouth.
Yep, I've heard that too. And I've heard it from a number of people many of them are not Ukrainian. So I guess people understand who they're dealing with when they hear him say something. Thank you. And is there anything else you want to add that I haven't asked you about?
No, I think we'll just be in touch for another week.
Yeah. Take care. Be safe. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you again.